What did I say? Watch I don't catch you. Realize what's coming at you. Coming at you. I am his Trey. Coming at you. Step aside. I am the Rorschach Master.
Welcome. I'm Trey Rorschach, and I am back after a while away from editing and making videos. Took a break to actually enjoy some of my gaming for a change, and this brand new PvE versus PvP extraction shooter came out, Arc Raiders. So I finally got around to buying it, and what is it all about? Basically, it's a loot and extract game. You fight Ark, which are these machines, giant spiders, giant little wasps with machine guns, and so on and so forth. You take down the Ark, you loot their corpses for their cores, you break down their cores, make weapons, attachments, and grenades from those cores. So, pretty fun game, right? There's also a PvP factor, and we'll get into that a little bit later. We will focus more on the PvE side of it at the moment. So, during day raids, you want to be attacking Ark, doing your weekly trials. Your weekly trials, if you get up to the epic grade of these trials, you will get epic loot, epic blueprints, and so on and so forth, handed to you just by doing your trials, as well as your quests. Traders on your main menu will not only trade with you, they'll give you quests for doing certain things on certain maps. This is going to get you higher tier loot without having to jump in, extract, and fight other PvP players. You just have to go in, do your little mission, line up an antenna, knock some nails in a roof, so on and so forth, and you'll get higher grade loot. Do that as quick as possible, as well as do up your Scrappy. Scrappy is your little chicken that'll run around the map, and he'll grab parts for you while you're on mission, and when you get back to Speranza, you'll already have these basic parts waiting for you. Saves you grabbing them on your run. You could save your inventory for much better loot. As that clip rolls there, pun intended, parkour in this game is awesome. You will need to increase your skill trees, which I'll go over in a future video. Those skill trees are quite important for your stamina control, whether you want to be more combat, whether you want to be more lootable perks. Those sort of things are going to be done in more depth in a future video. So how do we get the higher grade loot? That is a little more risky, because you see there, I jumped down a hatch instead of going to an extraction zone. And if you go to an extraction zone, you've got to call for an elevator or call for a train, and you've got to wait that period. This is where the rats come out. This is where people shoot you for your loot before you can jump on the train and extract. Quite often, when you've got low health, low shield from fighting Ark, or while you're fighting Ark even. So always watch your back and watch the extraction zones carefully. Watch out for traps, look in dark corners, so on and so forth. But night raids, hidden bunkers, cold snap events, locked gate events, they all give you double XP and higher rarity drops. Whether that's for blueprints, augments, weapons, generally craftable items are better during these events. And if you use one of the keys you find across the maps during one of your raids at one of these events, you are gonna get a much higher grade of loot, or even higher grade of craftables. Now, some of these are map dependent, so some of the blueprints you'll find on Blue Gate, some of them you'll find in Stellamontis. Stellamontis itself is a super high drop place. Even on day raids, I'm finding blueprints. Literally yesterday, I found the Aphelion blueprint twice. which is the rarest gun in the game at the moment, I believe. So Stellamontis is also a problem because of PvP, and we'll go over that a little later in the video. Before I go over craftable items and some of the things you should probably craft while you're playing this game, I just want to go over container types. So quite often, if you haven't got a key and say you're on a night raid, if you go to a high loot area that's got lots of different containers, like you'll see a lot of wooden drawers. Wooden drawers are great for certain items. So residential areas got lots of wooden drawers, but they've also got like medical containers and black box containers, and the container makes a difference when you're hunting blueprints. Blueprints will normally go to a certain container, so a medical container or a medical drawer might have a medical blueprint in it. Doesn't always work like that, but it's really handy to know that different types of containers could have the blueprint you're looking for inside them. Noting that, I had a key for a key room for Stellamontis yesterday, and I went into Stellamontis, and what I found was an Aphelion blueprint on the way to Stellamontis, and then when I got to the key room, I found a load of basic blueprints that I already had. So I was a little disappointed in the key room. The key rooms are not all as great as they look. Some of the epic key rooms are actually worse than some of the green key rooms, and I think that's definitely a factor they need to fix going forward in the game. There's a few bugs in Stellamontis where people run around in the ceilings and just shoot everyone dead and then loot all the bodies. That's really disturbing. I hope they fix that damn well soon. But as for crafting, you want to look into the materials you need to craft for the next 2 or 3 games. So if you're going to spend 2 or 3 runs in Stellamontis, there's a high chance of PvP. So you want to be taking in weapons like the El Toro shotgun or the Venator pistol, and you want to be focusing on close quarters combat and watching your back at all times. Especially if you go into a key room, it's quite often they'll open the door and bang in a load of trigger grenades. So be ready to sprint roll out that doorway and catch them off guard while they're throwing their grenades. It's a very highly contested area. It's quite small, lots of little corridors, lots of like places to run, places to hide, lots of different height levels. Stellamontis is a problem, and we'll go over that later in the video. But you want to, as I said, you want to craft the grenades that you need, the weapon that you need to go in. If you think that there's a high possibility of losing your kit, take in one of your basic weapons like a level 3 Stitcher, for example. That's going to do enough damage to kill a player. It won't do much against Arc, but if you're in those PvP situations, then it's not Arc you want to defend yourself against. You can carry homing grenades, for example, to protect you against wasps and hornets and shredders and stuff. And they will protect you far easier than any Stitcher bullet will, but that Stitcher is quite a demon at killing raiders. So you probably want to craft a couple of level 3s if you're going into Stellamontis. I prefer the Venator pistol myself, but each to his own, you know? So when you're fighting Ark and when you're fighting raiders, you're gonna want to craft totally different loadouts. So, for example, when you're fighting Ark, it really helps to have a heavy ammo weapon with high armor penetration. That way, you're able to take the armor off these Arks, hit their cores, hit their weak points, and take them down rather easily. Once their armor's off, you could switch to a medium ammo type with a higher mag capacity, for example, and you can hit them in their weak spots at a much faster rate. Also, the grenade types you use are going to be super beneficial. So, for example, taking out most Arc, homing rockets, The grenade launcher you can bring in. Things like showstoppers can take rocketeers out of the air, for example. For a brief period, you can run up, put a deadline mine on them. Real quick, easy way to take out a rocketeer if you have the skill to pull it off. I can't say I have yet, but that's the case. But arc is going to take a lot of ammunition and a lot of use of your grenades and probably your health too. Like, that's where a lot of the rats will come out when you're weak after facing armor or when you're looting here now. This was a PvP lobby. I'd probably get shot as soon as I went down for that. But where you hit the arc is going to be super detrimental to taking it down as well. So in a lot of these clips, I take the rotors of the flying machines out. But it's probably easier to hit their center console, get rid of the armor first, because their core is right behind that center console. So you want to take out the armor surrounding the core, and then you want to take down this thing itself. So the bombardier there, I used to shoot their legs and try to disable them. It's good if you want to put a deadline mine on, but it's a waste of resources in my opinion, because you want to save that for the queen. But you'll see me here. I threw 2 heavy fuse grenades right at the base of it, and if you get the armor that sits in between all the little legs on these little octopus grenade launcher machines and the bastion and the bombardier, if you hit that central cell, you take the armor off, and then you can kill them rather quickly with even a light ammo weapon would probably do the job. Expose the cores and kill the cores. Another prime example here, use a couple of grenades and a couple of clean shots to knock the armor off around the eye. And while that does, it exposes the core behind the eye. So you can see I do a lot more damage from that single shot. So killing arc is a lot more effective this way. So next, I want to get into PvP. It's hard to be fair on this game, because if you see an opportunity like this one here, where I'm totally focused on taking out the bastion with 14 minutes left in the lobby, that I don't hear the rat pulling up on my back, and that really puts me at a disadvantage. He gets all my loot. I try crawl outside so he has to get killed by the bastion, but he manages to get away with all of my loot. And for PvP, Blue Gate and Stella Montes are probably the worst. All I would say is, expect it. Expect it from anyone. So you see a clip here, we get our own back in this clip. But you want to be set up in these night raids more for PvP than PvE. If you're doing these night raids, it's players you've got to worry about, because they're going to be camping the doorways to the loot rooms and things like this. So trigger grenades, impact grenades, shrapnel grenades, things like this are going to be way more beneficial to you than homing rockets and things like that. As you can see, we get the raider flare there, bit of a lucky one, get the revive off. We wiped the floor with this team, thank God. My teammates did most of the work, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, watch out for rats at all times, and use the right equipment to take them down. The Venator level 4 is probably one of the best guns for PvP. And if you're at longer ranges on some of the bigger maps, the Renegade is awesome. It's like a 2-shot headshot, a 2 or 3-shot headshot, perfect for taking raiders out. I'm gonna love you and leave you with this last funny clip of betrayal. We do luckily enough get out. My reaction speed at everything in this clip is absolutely atrocious. So I hope you enjoy the lack of skill here. I have improved a little bit since we were so lucky to get out here. But if you've made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.